The sleek research ship Stellar Explorer hung in Earth's orbit like a silver tear against the black of space. Inside the main research deck, Chief Scientist Deho stared at the screen showing the blue-green planet below. His four-fingered hand trembled slightly as he reviewed the data for the third time. "This cannot be right," he said, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "Run the tests again." Yunji, his research assistant, tapped on her control panel. The young scientist's skin had a pale blue tint that darkened around her neck when she was worried. "Like now." "I've run it 5 times, Chief Deho," she said. "The readings are correct." The ship's computer spoke in a calm voice. "Confirmed. Planet designation Sol 3 has the following hazardous conditions: gravity at 2.3 times galactic standard, atmospheric oxygen at toxic levels, temperature variations exceeding safe parameters, solar radiation at dangerous intensities. Recommendation: classify as potential Deathworld and withdraw." Deho walked to the viewing port. His species had evolved on a gentle world with low gravity and a thick protective atmosphere. The very thought of the conditions below made his breathing quicken. "We cannot leave yet," he said firmly. "The Council sent us to make a full assessment of this system. We've detected radio signals indicating intelligent life. These beings somehow survived down there." Captain Yunho entered the research deck. Unlike the scientists with their slight builds, the security officer was tall and sturdy by their species standards. "The crew is concerned, Chief Deho," Yunho said. "These readings suggest conditions that would kill most Council species. How could anything intelligent evolve in such a place?" Yunji brought up a new screen showing various animal life forms their long-range scanners had detected. "That's what makes this so fascinating, Captain," she said, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "Look at these beings. They're moving, thinking, building things, all while their bodies are mostly water, in gravity that should crush them, breathing oxygen that should burn their lungs." Deho nodded. "The Council needs to know about this. If intelligent life can evolve here, it challenges everything we understand about habitable worlds." The computer interrupted. "Warning. Incoming solar radiation storm. All personnel should move to shielded areas." Through the viewport, they watched as beautiful lights danced across Earth's upper atmosphere. "Their planet isn't even protecting them properly from their star," Captain Yunho said in disbelief. "Yet our scans show billions of life forms down there." Deho made a decision. "Prepare a probe. We need samples and closer readings." "Chief," Yunji said hesitantly, "the computer recommends withdrawal." "The computer hasn't spent 40 cycles researching potential life-bearing worlds," Deho replied. "The Council doesn't send us to easy planets, Yunji. They send us to understand the unknown." 3 hours later, they gathered around a table filled with data from the returned probe. The mood was silent, shocked. "These humans, as they call themselves," Yunji said softly, "they don't just survive there. They thrive. They run on the surface for pleasure. They swim in acid oceans. They climb frozen mountains as a hobby." Deho looked at the images of humans going about their daily lives, completely unaware of how impossible their very existence was by galactic standards. "We need to land," he announced. Captain Yunho's neck ridges flared in alarm. "Land? On a Deathworld?" "We'll take precautions," Deho assured him. "But we must study them up close. A species that evolved on a world like this, what would they be capable of if they joined the galactic community? Or worse, what might they do if they felt threatened?" Yunji looked again at the humans in the images, so fragile-looking, yet surviving conditions that would kill her in minutes without protection. "The Council needs to know," she agreed. Deho nodded. "Prepare the landing craft. We make history today." The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with voices. 200 representatives from different worlds sat in rising circles around a central platform. The room fell silent as Ambassador Tewu stepped forward, his ceremonial blue robe catching the light. "Esteemed members of the Council," Tewu began, his voice clear and strong. I bring disturbing news from Research Team 7. They have discovered a world that defies our understanding of life. Behind him, a large screen showed images of Earth, blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land masses. "It looks peaceful," whispered one council member. Taewoo touched his control pad, and new images appeared: hurricanes, volcanoes, floods, and blizzards. "This planet, which the natives call Earth, experiences extreme weather that would destroy most of our colonies," Taewoo explained. "The gravity would crush most of us. The oxygen levels would poison our lungs. Their star bombards the surface with radiation." Council member Minji stood up. Her species was known for their logical thinking and peaceful approaches. "Yet life exists there?" she asked. "Not just simple life," Taewoo replied. "The dominant species, humans, has built cities, created technology, and even sent primitive spacecraft beyond their world." The hall filled with shocked murmurs. "I propose," Taewoo continued when the noise died down, "that we classify Earth as a Class 5 Deathworld, our highest danger rating." Elder Kyung, the oldest member of the council, leaned forward. "Has any council member ever set foot on a Class 5 world and survived?" "No, Elder," Taewoo admitted. "But Chief Scientist Daeho and his team are preparing to land on Earth now." "They're going to die," someone shouted from the back. Minji raised her hand again. "Ambassador, if these humans evolved on this death world, what does that tell us about their physical capabilities compared to ours?" The question made the hall go quiet. "That is exactly what concerns me," Taewoo said softly. "A species that considers such conditions normal may be stronger than anything we have encountered before." On the screen, images of human activities appeared. People climbing mountains, diving into oceans, running marathons through deserts. "They do these things for fun," Taewoo explained. "What we would consider survival situations, they consider recreation." Elder Kyung's voice trembled slightly. "If they ever leave their world." "Exactly," Taewoo nodded. "That is why Research Team 7's mission is critical. We must understand these beings before we decide how to approach them." Meanwhile, on the Stellar Explorer, Daeho's team prepared for landing. "The protective suits are ready," Yeonji reported. "Triple-layered with oxygen filters and gravity compensators." Security Officer Juwoo checked his equipment. "The stunners are charged, but I doubt they would stop a creature evolved for such conditions." Daeho looked at them both. "Remember, we observe only. No contact with the natives unless absolutely necessary." Captain Yunho's voice came through the speaker. "Chief Daeho, we've received a message from the council. They're debating Earth's classification right now." "Let me guess," Daeho said. "Taewoo wants to label it Class 5. "Yes, Council Member Minji is arguing for caution before classification." Daeho smiled. Wise Minji, always thinking beyond the first reaction. The landing craft hummed as its engines warmed up. Through its windows, Earth grew larger. "I found a remote landing spot," Yeonji said. "A forest area with no human settlements nearby." Juwoo looked nervous. What if their animals are as dangerous as their environment? "Then we'll have fascinating data for our final report," Daeho replied, his scientist's curiosity overcoming his fear. The ship shuddered as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. Outer hull temperature rising. Yeonji called out. "Air resistance stronger than calculated." "Compensating," Daeho said calmly, adjusting the controls. The craft broke through the cloud layer, and they got their first direct view of Earth's surface. Tall trees stretched below them, mountains rose in the distance, and a river cut through the landscape. "It's beautiful," Yeonji whispered. Daeho nodded. "And deadly. Prepare for landing on humanity's death world." The craft descended toward the forest, carrying the first galactic citizens to willingly set foot on a Class 5 planet. The landing craft touched down in a small clearing. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the forest around them erupted with sounds. Birds calling, insects buzzing, leaves rustling in the wind. "Environmental check," Deho ordered, his voice tight with tension. Yunji read the numbers from her scanner. Oxygen, toxic levels. Gravity, 2.3 times galactic standard. Temperature, 22 degrees, within survival range with suits. Radiation, constant low-level exposure from their sun. Jiwoo checked the security scanners. No large life forms approaching. But there's so much light out there. The scanners can barely separate individual signals. Deho took a deep breath inside his protective helmet. "Let's go. Remember, full suits at all times. Triple check your seals." The door hissed open. Earth's air rushed in through the airlock filters, bringing smells of soil, plants, and water. The team stepped out one by one. "By the stars." Yumji gasped as her boots touched Earth's soil. Despite the gravity compensators in her suit, she felt heavy, like she was carrying a second body on her shoulders. Deho struggled forward a few steps, his movements awkward in the thick suit. The gravity. It's like walking through deep water. Jiwoo pointed his scanner at the dense trees surrounding them. "The plants here. They're gigantic, growing straight up against this crushing gravity." They moved slowly into the forest. With each step, they fought Earth's pull. Their home world had half of Earth's gravity, and even with technology helping them, every movement took effort. "Look," Yoonji pointed up. A small creature with wings darted between branches. Flying animals. In this gravity, Deho watched the bird in wonder. The energy required to lift a body in this environment. These creatures must eat constantly. As they moved deeper into the woods, the team documented everything. Plants growing from the ground up toward the light, insects crawling on trees, small animals running across their path. "Wait," Jiwoo said suddenly, holding up his hand. "Listen." A distant sound echoed through the forest. Something large was moving through the trees. "Hide," Deho whispered. They crouched behind thick bushes. Through the leaves, they watched as a large brown animal walked into view. It moved on 4 legs, its head low to the ground. Sniffing. "A predator," Yeonji whispered, checking her scanner. The creature's head snapped up, its ears turning toward their hiding spot. It had heard them. "Don't move," Jiwoo warned, his hand on his stunner. The animal stared in their direction for a long moment. Then it turned and disappeared back into the forest. "It was so big," Yeonji said, her voice shaking, moving like the gravity was nothing. Deho nodded. "A native species, perfectly adapted to conditions that would kill us." They continued their exploration, moving carefully. Yeonji collected soil and plant samples. Deho recorded everything with his camera. Jiwoo kept watch, jumping at every sound. After an hour, they reached the edge of a small clearing. A stream of water cut through it, flowing over rocks. "Water test," Deho said, kneeling by the stream. He dipped a collection tube into the clear liquid. The scanner beeped in his hand. "Interesting. The water contains minerals, microorganisms, and pollutants." "Look at this," Yeonji called from a few steps away. She pointed to something on the ground. They gathered around to see a strange straight line cut into the earth. "Not natural," Jiwoo said immediately. "Too perfect. A path," Deho realized. "Made by humans." A sudden cracking sound came from above. They looked up as dark clouds rolled across the sky. "Weather alert," Yeonji's scanner warned. "Atmospheric pressure dropping. Temperature change detected." The first drops of rain hit their helmets, small at first, then heavier. "Back to the ship," Deho ordered. But as they turned, lightning split the sky. Thunder boomed so loud they felt it in their chests. The gentle rain turned into a downpour. "We'll never make it back in this," Jiwoo shouted over the storm. "There," Yeonji pointed toward the path. "It must lead somewhere." With no choice, they followed the human trail, fighting against the wind and rain of Earth's sudden storm. The rain pounded against their protective suits as Daho, Yunji, and Juwu hurried along the human-made path. Lightning flashed above them, making their shadow sensors flicker. There, Juwu pointed ahead through the downpour. A structure. A small wooden building stood in a clearing. Its simple roof and walls looked fragile to their eyes, but it offered shelter from the storm. "Let's go," Daho decided, leading them toward it. The building was empty when they entered. It had one room with wooden benches and large windows showing the forest and storm outside. "It's some kind of observation post," Yunji said, examining the interior. "Look, there are information panels about local wildlife." Daho brushed water from his suit. "Good. We can wait out the storm here and learn more about this area." While Juwu checked the perimeter for signs of humans, Yunji turned on her translator and scanned the information panels. Daho connected to the ship. "Stellar Explorer, do you read? We found shelter from an unexpected weather event." Captain Yunho's voice crackled through the static. "We see the storm on our scanners. It's massive. Are you safe?" "For now," Daho replied. "We're in a human structure, but it's empty. The Council is demanding updates. Ambassador Tewu is pushing for immediate classification of Earth as a Class 5 Deathworld." Daho looked out at the raging storm. "Tell them we need more time. This planet is dangerous, yes, but fascinating." As he ended the communication, Yunji called him over to the information panels. "Chief, you need to see this," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "This area is called a national park. Humans come here deliberately to experience the natural environment." "For what purpose?" Daho asked. "Recreation, pleasure. They hike on these trails, sleep in the forest, climb those mountains, all by choice." Juwu joined them, shaking his head in disbelief. "They do this for fun. In this gravity and oxygen." A sudden noise outside made them freeze. Through the rain-streaked windows, they saw a vehicle approaching on a wider path. It stopped near the building. "Hide," Juwu whispered urgently. They pressed themselves against the wall beside the door. The building's entrance swung open, and two humans entered, shaking water from their outer coverings. "Man, that storm came out of nowhere," the taller human said. "That's mountain weather for you," the other replied. "Forecasts said clear skies all day. So much for our camping trip." The aliens watched in silence as the humans moved around the small space with ease, unaffected by the gravity that made the aliens struggle even with tech assistance. At least the ranger station was close. The first human said, looking out at the storm, "I wouldn't want to be stuck out on the trail in this." The second human laughed. "Remember that time we got caught in the snowstorm on Mount Herrick? Now that was extreme." "Yeah, good times," the first replied with a smile. Yunji looked at Daho in amazement. The humans were casually discussing survival situations as fond memories. The humans sat on the benches, pulled out containers of food and water, and continued chatting about their adventures in various environments. Deserts, mountains, oceans, all conditions that would kill most galactic species. "They're so resilient," Yunji whispered, too quietly for the humans to hear. "Look how they move, how they breathe this air like it's nothing." Daho nodded. "Their baseline for normal is what we consider extreme." After an hour, the rain stopped. The humans packed their things and left, never noticing the aliens hidden in the shadows. When they were alone again, Juwu asked, "How do we classify a species that treats deadly conditions as a playground?" Daho looked thoughtful. "That's what we need to find out. Let's follow them from a safe distance and learn more about these remarkable creatures." As they stepped outside, the forest glistened with raindrops, and a rainbow arched across the sky. Earth's beauty and danger continued to amaze them. "I'm starting to understand why they love this deadly world," Yunji said softly. "It's terrifying, but magnificent." Daho, Yunji, and Juwu followed the humans at a safe distance. Their protective suits had camouflage technology that helped them blend into the forest. The two hikers walked along the trail, talking and laughing. Their lung capacity must be enormous, Yunji noted, watching the humans climb a steep section without breathing hard. They're processing this oxygen-rich air effortlessly. After several hours of observation, the team returned to their landing craft. The small ship was hidden in a dense part of the forest, covered with branches for extra protection. We should set up a base camp, Deho decided. Somewhere we can monitor human activities more effectively. They found a suitable location on a ridge overlooking a popular hiking trail. As night fell, they set up their equipment. Earth's moon cast a silver light over the landscape. It's cooler now, Ju said, checking the external temperature, down to 15 degrees. These temperature swings would cause health emergencies on our world, Daho observed. Yet the humans adapt without technology. They took turns resting through the night, always keeping someone on watch. When morning came, they were startled by how quickly the temperature rose again. Yunji was the first to notice the smoke. Look there. She pointed to the horizon where a gray cloud was rising. Is that normal? Daho checked his scanner. No, that's combustion. Something is burning. Within hours, the smoke grew thicker. The wind shifted, bringing the smell of burning wood to their sensors. Wildlife began to move through the forest below them, all heading away from the smoke. Forest fire, Ju said grimly. We need to return to the landing craft. They packed quickly, but as they started down the ridge, they saw flames in the distance, spreading fast. The fire is between us and the craft, Yunji realized, fear in her voice. We need to go around, Daho decided. Head north, away from the fire's path. They moved as quickly as they could in their heavy suits. The smoke grew thicker, making it hard to see. Earth's gravity seemed to pull even stronger as they tired. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath them. A section of the ridge collapsed, sending trees and rocks tumbling. Ju slipped and fell, sliding down the slope. Ju! Yunji cried out. Daho and Yunji carefully made their way down to where Ju lay. His suit was damaged, a crack running across his helmet. I can't move my leg, Ju gasped. The suit's medical system is working, Daho said, checking the readings. But we need to get him to safety. The fire was spreading faster now, driven by the wind. They could feel its heat even through their suits. They were trapped. Then they heard a new sound. Engines. Human vehicles were approaching. Hide, Daho ordered instinctively. We can't move, Ju, Yunji protested. And the fire is coming. Maybe they can help. Before Daho could decide, 5 humans in yellow protective clothing emerged from the smoke. They wore helmets and carried equipment. One of them spotted the aliens. Hey, there's people up here, the human called out. The humans rushed forward. Their leader, a tall man with dark eyes, knelt beside Ju. I'm Park Ranger Hyunwoo, he said clearly. Are you hurt? What are you wearing? The aliens looked at each other. Their secret was exposed. We need help, Daho said finally, his translator converting his words to the local language. My friend is injured. There is fire coming. The human's eyes widened at the strange voice and language. Ranger Hyunwoo stared at them for only a moment before nodding. Whatever you are, we'll help you, he said firmly. Fire doesn't care what planet you're from. Let's get you out of here. 2 humans carefully lifted Ju. The others guided Daho and Yunji toward their vehicles. As they moved through the smoky forest, Daho marveled at how the humans faced the deadly fire with such calm determination. They were heading directly into danger to save strangers, alien strangers, without hesitation. Perhaps, Daho thought, there was more to these Deathworld dwellers than just physical resilience. The human vehicles bounced over the rough ground, moving away from the spreading fire. Inside one of them, Daho and Yunji sat across from Ranger Hyunwoo. In another vehicle, medics attended to Juwoo's injured leg. So, Hyunwoo said calmly, you're not from around here. Daho's translator processed the words. He hesitated, then nodded. We are researchers from the Galactic Council. We came to study your world. Hyunwoo looked at their protective suits and smiled. Those suits must be uncomfortable. Our air too much for you. Your planet has conditions we consider extreme, Yoonji explained. The gravity, oxygen levels, temperature changes. They would kill us without protection. Interesting, Hyunwoo said, not seeming shocked at all by talking to aliens. Yet to us, Earth is just home. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council's Great Hall, the debate had reached a critical point. We've lost contact with the research team, Ambassador Taewoo announced to the assembled representatives. Their last transmission mentioned a natural disaster, fire spreading through the forest. And now, silence. Council member Minji stood. Have we confirmed they are in danger? Earth experiences forest fires regularly. Perhaps they're simply moving to safety. Or perhaps they've learned firsthand why Earth should be classified as a Class 5 Deathworld. Taewoo countered. I move that we send a full diplomatic vessel immediately. If the research team has been discovered by humans, we must establish proper contact protocols. Elder Kyung raised his wrinkled hand. I agree with Ambassador Taewoo. If humans now know of our existence, we should approach them formally. Admiral Jinsu's ship is prepared for such a mission. The council voted, and the motion passed. Admiral Jinsu, who had been waiting outside the chamber, was called in and given his orders. Bring back our people, Elder Kyung told him, and make first contact with these Deathworld dwellers. Assess their intentions toward the galactic community. Admiral Jinsu bowed. I will depart immediately. On Earth, the Rangers had brought the aliens to a small emergency center in the mountains. The building was simple but sturdy, with medical equipment and communication devices. Jiwoo lay on a bed, his protective suit removed from his injured leg. A human doctor examined the purple-tinted skin with fascination. Your bone structure is similar to ours, she told him, but your tissue density is much lower. No wonder our gravity is difficult for you. Can you help him? Daho asked. The doctor nodded. It's a clean break. I can set it, but I'm not sure about medications. Your biology might react differently. Our suits have medical systems, Yoonji said. They can provide the right treatments if you can stabilize the bone. In another room, Ranger Hyunwoo sat with Daho, sharing hot drinks. Daho could only smell his through a special port in his helmet, but the aroma was pleasant. Your government, Hyunwoo asked, this Galactic Council, will they come looking for you? Daho nodded. Yes. When they lose contact with us, they will send others. And how will they view us? Hyunwoo's question was direct, but not afraid. That is complicated, Daho admitted. Some fear what humans might be capable of, having evolved on such a harsh world. Others are curious about the same thing. Hyunwoo laughed. Harsh. Earth isn't harsh. It's beautiful. A beauty that can kill, Daho pointed out. Yet you face fires, storms, floods, and you call it home. It's all we know. Hyunwoo shrugged. We adapt. Their conversation was interrupted when Yoonji rushed in. Daho. The ship's emergency beacon activated. I'm receiving a signal from orbit. It's Admiral Jinsu's diplomatic vessel. Daho's eyes widened. The council sent a diplomatic ship. That's unexpected. Is that good or bad? Hyunwoo asked. It means, Daho said slowly, that your world is about to formally meet the galactic community. Admiral Jinsu is bringing a first contact team. Hyunwoo took a sip of his drink, remarkably calm at this news. Well then, I better call my government. Sounds like we're having some important visitors. 3 days later, the United Nations General Assembly held an emergency session. Representatives from all Earth nations gathered in New York. The room buzzed with nervous energy as they waited. At the center of the room stood a special platform. It had been built overnight to accommodate the visitors' needs: lower gravity, filtered air, and controlled temperature. The Secretary General addressed the crowd. Today marks the most significant moment in human history. We welcome representatives from the Galactic Council. The doors opened. Admiral Jinsu entered first, followed by Ambassador Tewu and a team of alien diplomats. They wore sleek protective suits that looked less bulky than Daho's research equipment. Daho, Yunji, and a recovered Jiwoo joined them, along with Council member Minji, who had insisted on coming to Earth personally. Humans whispered in amazement at the sight of the aliens. Despite their protective gear, their non-human features were clear: thinner limbs, larger eyes, and skin tones ranging from pale blue to soft purple. Admiral Jinsu stepped forward. His translator converted his words to multiple Earth languages simultaneously. People of Earth, I bring greetings from the United Galactic Council, representing 217 spacefaring civilizations across our shared galaxy. The human delegates applauded politely, though many looked stunned. Ambassador Tewu moved to the center of the platform. A large screen activated behind him, showing images of various planets. Honored humans, he began. Before we discuss diplomatic relations, you must understand how your world is viewed by galactic standards. The screen showed a chart with 5 categories. We classify habitable planets from Class 1, most hospitable, to Class 5, most dangerous. Tewu gestured to the chart. Earth is a Class 5 world, what we call a Deathworld. Murmurs spread through the human crowd. Let me explain, Tewu continued. Your gravity is crushing by our standards. Your oxygen levels would poison most council species. Your temperature variations would cause fatal shock. Your weather patterns create disasters we would evacuate entire colonies to avoid. The screen showed Earth storms, volcanoes, earthquakes, and other natural events. And yet, Tewu said, you not only survive here, you thrive. You build cities in disaster zones. You climb mountains for recreation. You swim in acidic oceans for pleasure. Human delegates looked at each other in confusion. Their oceans weren't acidic to them. Their gravity wasn't crushing. This was just normal. Daho stepped forward. If I may, Ambassador. Tewu nodded and stepped back. 3 days ago, Daho said, I was trapped in a forest fire. To me, it was a terrifying death sentence. To the humans who rescued us, it was Tuesday. A few humans laughed at this. They faced conditions that would kill me instantly, without special equipment, to save strangers, alien strangers. This shows not just physical adaptation to a deadly world, but remarkable psychological resilience. Council member Minji joined him. This is why I argued against simply classifying Earth as dangerous. Yes, technically, it is a death world by our standards. But its people have developed unique strengths because of it. The Secretary General spoke up. Are you saying you consider humans dangerous? Admiral Jinsu answered carefully. We consider humans extraordinarily capable. Your natural abilities exceed those of most council species. Your baseline physical condition is what we would consider peak performance. Ambassador Tewu displayed new images, humans in various activities, from weightlifting to deep-sea diving to spacewalking. What you consider normal daily activities would be impossible survival situations for most galactic citizens, Tewu explained. Some council members believe this makes humans potentially concerning as galactic neighbors. The human delegates shifted uncomfortably. But Minji added quickly, others of us see tremendous potential for cooperation. Situations that would devastate our colonies might be manageable with human assistance. Daho nodded. The very conditions that make Earth a death world have created in humans exactly the qualities the galaxy often needs most: strength, adaptability, and a remarkable drive to overcome challenges. The Secretary General looked thoughtful. So our normal is your nightmare. That's quite a perspective shift. The next day, at a large sports stadium in New York, humans prepared to show the Galactic Council representatives what they were capable of. The aliens watched from a protected viewing area. their suits allowing them to survive Earth's conditions while observing the demonstrations. "We understand your concerns," the Secretary General had told them. "But we want to show you that our abilities can be used for cooperation, not conflict." The stadium was filled with people from around the world. News of the alien visitors had spread quickly, and everyone wanted to see them. Admiral Jinsu sat with Ambassador Taewoo, Council Member Minji, and Daho's research team. Ranger Hyunwoo had been invited to join them as an honored guest. "What exactly will we be seeing?" Admiral Jinsu asked Hyunwoo. "A showcase of human capabilities," Hyunwoo replied. "Not weapons or military power, but the everyday strengths that come from living on Earth." The demonstration began with athletes. Runners sprinted around the track at speeds that made the aliens blink in surprise. Swimmers dove into a pool and powered through water that would crush the aliens' lungs. Weightlifters hoisted bars loaded with weights that would snap the aliens' bones. Impressive physical abilities, Ambassador Taewoo noted. But physical strength alone is not what concerns some council members. Minji nodded. "It's their adaptability that is most remarkable." The next demonstration featured emergency responders. Firefighters moved through a simulated burning building, carrying heavy equipment and victims without powered assistance. Disaster teams showed how they could work in floods, earthquakes, and other extreme conditions. "These humans rush toward danger," Yoonji said with wonder. "Not just when they must, but as a calling." Next came scientists and engineers. They presented technologies developed to survive and thrive on their challenging world: water purification, earthquake-resistant buildings, weather prediction systems, and more. They turned their planet's dangers into opportunities for innovation, Daho observed. Finally, artists took the center field. They performed dances that celebrated human resilience, displayed artwork inspired by Earth's powerful natural forces, and played music that captured both the beauty and danger of their world. "Their art reflects their relationship with their dangerous home," Minji said. "They don't just survive here, they find meaning in the challenge." After the demonstrations, human representatives invited the aliens to a meeting room below the stadium. The walls were lined with screens showing Earth's greatest challenges: climate change, natural disasters, resource scarcity, and the solutions humans were developing. A woman named Dr. Gi, head of the International Disaster Response Team, addressed the aliens. "Yes, we evolved on what you call a Deathworld," she said. "It made us strong, but also taught us cooperation. When disaster strikes, humans help each other across all borders." She showed videos of international rescue teams working together after earthquakes and floods. "Our strength comes not just from our bodies, but from our communities," she continued. "We hope to extend that community to include the Galactic Council." Ambassador Taewoo looked thoughtful. "Your capabilities could indeed be valuable to worlds facing crisis." Minji stepped forward. "I studied your history. You've had terrible wars and conflicts, yet you've also shown remarkable progress toward cooperation. The same adaptability that helps you survive disasters has helped you overcome divisions." Admiral Jinsu nodded slowly. "Perhaps what makes humans dangerous also makes them necessary. There are crisis situations throughout the galaxy where your natural abilities would save lives." Dr. G smiled. "That's what we hope you would see. We don't want to be feared for evolving on a challenging world. We want to use our strengths to help." As they spoke, Yoonji noticed Daho working intently on his datapad. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Preparing my final report to the Council," he replied. "I'm recommending a new classification for Earth." "Not just a death world?" she asked. "No," Daho said, watching the humans with new respect. "Something much more valuable." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was packed. Representatives from all 217 member worlds had gathered for the vote on Earth's status. The mood was tense as Admiral Jinsu, Ambassador Taewoo, and Council member Minji presented their reports. Daho stood nervously at the center of the platform. As chief researcher, it was his recommendation that would carry the most weight. Honored representatives, he began, after direct observation and contact with humans, I confirm that Earth is indeed a Class 5 death world by our technical standards. Murmurs spread through the hall. Some representatives nodded in satisfaction, while others looked concerned. However, Daho continued, I believe this classification is incomplete. It describes Earth's conditions, but fails to capture the remarkable species that evolved there. The large screen behind him showed images of humans, rescuing others from disasters, working together to solve problems, creating art and technology despite their challenging environment. Humans have not merely survived on their death world, Daho explained. They have transformed their natural resilience into cultural strengths. They run toward dangers that would make us flee. They see beauty in forces we find terrifying. They help strangers without hesitation. Ambassador Tewu spoke next. Some council members fear humans because of their physical capabilities. I shared those concerns, but after meeting them, I believe their greatest strength is not physical, but psychological. They do not break under pressure. They adapt and grow stronger. Council member Minji stepped forward. The galaxy faces many challenges. Unstable worlds, natural disasters, resource crises. In each of these situations, humans' natural abilities would be invaluable. Elder Kyung raised his hand. What exactly are you proposing? Earth clearly meets the criteria for a death world. I propose, Daho said confidently, that while maintaining the scientific classification of Earth as a Class 5 world, we create a new diplomatic designation, Resilient World Specialists. He showed a detailed plan on the screen. Humans would join specialized council teams for disaster response, extreme environment colonization, and crisis management. Their unique abilities would complement our technological advantages. The council debated for hours. Some representatives feared human unpredictability. Others saw the potential benefits of human assistance in dangerous situations. Finally, Elder Kyung called for a vote. The results appeared on the main screen. 189 in favor, 28 opposed. The motion passes, Elder Kyung announced. Earth will be officially classified as a death world, but with the special diplomatic status of Resilient World Specialists. 1 month later, Daho and Yunji stood in a new office on Earth. Through special transparent walls that protected them from Earth's atmosphere, they could see humans training with council technology. The first joint emergency response teams were preparing for their missions. I never imagined this outcome when we first arrived, Yunji said, watching a human easily carry equipment that would require mechanical assistance for other species. Neither did I, Daho admitted. I expected to find dangerous creatures. Instead, we found valuable allies. The door opened, and Ranger Hyunwoo entered. He was now Earth's chief liaison to the Galactic Council. Good news, Hyunwoo announced. The first human emergency team just completed their mission on Proxima I. They evacuated 300 council citizens from the earthquake zone with 0 casualties. Impressive, Daho said. Hyunwoo smiled. For the council, maybe. For us, it was just another Tuesday. They laughed together, an alien and human sharing a moment of understanding. Outside the window, more human volunteers arrived for training. They came from all Earth nations, eager to use their Death World forged abilities to help others across the stars. You know, Yunji said thoughtfully, most species evolve to fit safely into their environment. Humans evolve to overcome theirs. Perhaps that's the difference that matters most. Daho nodded, watching Earth's dangerous inhabitants prepare to save lives throughout the galaxy. The most powerful force in the universe, he said, isn't the one that destroys. It's the one that endures, adapts, and helps others do the same. In the sky above, another council ship arrived, bringing new technology and opportunities for cooperation. Earth's classification as a death world hadn't changed, but its place in the galaxy had changed forever.